So Mr. R wanted us to learn, and I, Emily Rodriguez,
Alma here.
from his third period chemistry class, had learned to an A grade level the following concepts from the first 12 chapters of our chemistry book. This is not an inclusive list, but our selection of concepts from each chapter. That's what we will remember.
Okay, for Chapter 1, Introduction to Chemistry, we learn the difference between pure chemistry, which is the pursuit of chemical knowledge for its own sake, and applied chemistry, which is research that is directed toward a practical application.
Chapter 2 was matter and change. We learned two ways to separate mixtures, and they were filtration and distillation.
For Chapter 3, Scientific Measurement, we were introduced to the International System of Units, which is a revised version of the metric system.
In Chapter 4, we learned the atomic structure. We learned about the structure of the atoms and the three kinds of subatomic particles, there being the electrons, the protons, and the neutrons.
For Chapter 5, Electrons and Atoms, we learn the cause of atomic emission spectra, which occurs when atoms absorb energy and move to a higher energy level. The electrons then lose energy by emitting light when they return to a lower energy level.
In Chapter 6, we learned about the periodic table, and we learned that the modern periodic table arranges elements in order from increasing atomic number.
In Chapter 7, Ionic and Metallic Bonding, we discovered valence electrons, which are electrons in an atom's highest energy level.
Chapter 8, Covalent Bonding, we gained the knowledge of polar molecules with opposite charges.
In Chapter 9, Chemical Names and Formulas, we learned the representative elements are those within the first two families on the far left of the periodic table and the last six families on the right.
Chapter 10, the chemical quantities, we learned three ways to measure matter, and it was by weight, volume, and count.
In Chapter 11, Chemical Reactions, we were enlightened of, very good word, of the first five chemical reactions, which are decomposition, synthesis, single replacement, double replacement, and combustion.
And then in the last chapter, on Chapter 12, we learned about stoichiometry. We discovered molar ratios, and that they are ratios between the amount in moles of any two compounds involved in a chemical reaction.
Woohoo! Now those are